First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista, hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Well, let's start with football because it's coming up soon.
Coming up here in a few weeks, where we're going to travel to Cienega High School. It's up in Vail, where the Buena High School Colts. These are two conference rivals, but this year they switched them out of conference. Cienega is no longer in their division, which is really weird. They're on the other side of it, but it'll be a great game because those two teams have gone back head-to-head every year. They're both competitive programs, so should be a good game. As I've said earlier, this is a tough schedule for Buena Colts, but they're a tough team. So this is where they need to be. Even if they go 5-5 this year, and I don't predict that'll happen, but even if they went 5-5, the strength of their schedule is going to put them in the playoffs because they're playing some of the best in the state. So Coach Thomas has got to work ahead of him. He knows that. I talked to him a couple weeks ago about his season, but we're excited for the Colts this year. And then the following week, on September 5th, we're coming back. We're going to do the 150th meeting between Douglas High School and Bisbee Pumas. That's the longest rival in high school history here in the country. So we're going to be down there for that. It's at Douglas, and just talking to folks yesterday, and they're like talking about who's going to win. It's already talking in those communities. This is a huge community game, so we're excited about that between Douglas and Bisbee. The annual pick game, the 150th, so that's going to be the following week. So we're kicking off the season in two great games, so we're excited about that.
And hopefully none of these games get rained out. Oh, wait. Is there going to be rain?
Well, monsoon's missing in action. It's MIA. We should have some kind of police report on that, Carol, because we haven't seen moisture. It's like we're seeing some horrific heat, though. I mean,
yes.
117 in Phoenix. We had some guests down from Phoenix yesterday, and they were talking about how hot it is up here. And we're boiling down here. I mean, we've taken Susie's pre-bake oven, and we've made that real here in Cochise County. And I've been doing soccer all week and out there in the heat. Wow.
How's that working out for you?
Oh, I'm losing weight like crazy. I'll just tell people. But it is so hot out there, and so be careful on the heat. I'll just share that with you. And I'm surprised, and I don't think we've had any rescues for heat-related, have we?
No, but a thing that started with schools is they're keeping kids indoors. They can't go out to recess in Tucson schools.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's just so hot, and it's dangerous for kids to be out there running around and, being kids.
I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm somewhat accurate because it's going to rain in monsoon. Wow. Is the fact that the heat drives moisture. I mean, that drives your monsoon later in the or afternoon or evening. You would think with the heat we're getting right now, we should have some horrific storms, but we haven't. That's why I say Mother Nature is taking our monsoons away, and it's MIA right now, but we need to get some moisture back in there. We started off decent, got a little better, and then just disappeared. So hopefully, everybody go wash your cars today. Get the misters and all the car washes around town and wash your cars and
do the rain dance.
Do the rain dance and whatever else you have to do. But we need some moisture bad.
Well, we want to start off the show with a couple of shout-outs. Let's start with Terry Bannon.
Terry Bannon. A little history with Terry Bannon. Terry Bannon is a Superior Court judge. Does a lot of the juvenile domestic cases, but she announced her retirement. I first met Terry Bannon. She was our civil attorney for the sheriff's office when I first got elected 13 years ago, and she was such a pleasure to work with. And her and I have stayed friends the current time. We're going to miss her. It was kind of an improv. I'm leaving. But I tell you, she has served well, and we're going to miss her. We're losing. One thing people don't think about a lot, I'll just say this, is the standardization and the professionalism of our courts within Cochise County. We've always been very blessed, and we've had long-standing judges that understand the business, and that's so important. And losing Terry Bannon is that's a big loss. Let me just say that without putting a phrase behind that. So, Terry, but we wish you well in your retirement and whatever your next endeavor is. Hope she'll come back and work as our attorney again. Would love to have her back in there. She's very wise at what she does.
And Danielle Weller from the Health Services through the jail. She did a great thing in getting a certification. So it's not easy for people to take time and effort and go through these types of trainings and just make sure that they're able to be more proficient in their job. The big bonus for us is we get to cash in on all of their hard work. So thanks, Danielle, for doing that. Thanks, Megan Kennedy, for being the catalyst behind updating and revamping and doing whatever you have to do. And we're so appreciative that now the jail medical is under the sheriff's office.
Well, we are. They're part of our team, and Danielle, congratulations on that award, because it builds into what I call our reputation, and our reputation is the fuel to what we get done. It's really what we get done, the trust that we build within our respective communities. So again, she fits so well, but she well earned it. She worked hard to get that certificate. So again, congratulations.
And the sheriff is always out in the community, and oftentimes you're raising money for nonprofits right here in our community. And this one is actually outside our community, so you even make money for other places. You got to ride along today.
I got a call, and I don't remember who even called me 8 months ago about sheriff on the auctions. And I've had, this is the second one, excuse me, where a group in Pima County asked me if they could auction me off up there. Sure. Sure. And I do that for nonprofits. It's not for profit. It's not a business. And if it can go back and help a community. And so last year, an individual, couple won me, and they came down and we went to lunch and stuff. And then during lunch, they asked me, said, Sheriff, how can we help your community? Now, again, that money stays up in PMO. I don't get any of this money on these auctions. And I said, what do you mean? What can we help? And they did $1,000, I think it was, or a couple $1,000 donation to the Boys and Girls Club. Just here locally to help out. And so it's nice when you see that kind of stuff. Well, and that's something I started years back, where spend a day with the sheriff. I think last year before last was over $30,000 that went to nonprofits here in Cochise County, just for these people. Now, that costs me money because I have to buy them lunch when they ride with me. I get the morning snack. I buy their sodas. I mean, and plus you're spending time that day. You clear your schedule because you're with these people and these citizens, and I think it's great for enhancement of community. They understand us. These are people that, oh yeah, I rode with the sheriff. This is what I learned. Just a nice influencer to get these people to understand what we do as a sheriff, what in law enforcement. And so, so the people that bought me, they live in Oro Valley, husband, wife. They're coming down today after the show. That they're going to jump in with me for the day, and we're going to spend the day together. And so I'm excited about it because obviously it gets talk to other people, and I'm a talker, y'all know that. So they're going to be with me. Pam's leading the charge. That's who I've been talking to up there. So they're all excited to come down and spend a day. And I got some people here in town that I got to catch up with them too. And hey, let me know when you're ready to go. And then they get busy. So I just enjoy doing it. It doesn't bother me to have people sit in the passenger seat and see what I do every day, and then go back and share what they learned.
And one of the things that you also do is schools. So a number of schools have awards that they give to their students. And some of them pick, riding to school with the sheriff on the first day of school, or getting a ride to school with the sheriff. Again, it's not a monetary thing. The sheriff's office doesn't make money off of it. You don't make money off of it. And it's just a way to kind of get kids engaged in public safety. Regardless of if it's law enforcement, fire services, EMS, you at least get the kids engaged from a young age. And the one that you most recently took to school, you've taken her a couple of times, and it started with her winning the actual school award. And then she had a big old sign saying that she's going to be a sheriff's deputy based on that particular thing.
Well, she's got great parents, number one. JD and Danielle, they're awesome. And so Ashlyn and then Jackson, both of them same class. Both of them said, hey, can we go to school with you? So I gave them both a ride. We stopped, so okay, got their snacks. But I do that because, when you can influence in a positive way young people that can get in your patrol car and their eyes are wide open, and I can embrace the fact of how important school is to them, this is our future. Ignoring our young people, especially in law enforcement, is a fracture anywhere you go. I've coached for many years. These young kids, I'll be in Buena in 2 weeks speaking to their criminal justice programs. I open up their classrooms. I'm the first speaker for all their criminal justice programs every year at Buena. And I do that because I want them to know that who we are, we're not scary. We're their friends. We're community members. And we sat in those chairs years ago. I have to say years. But long story short is I think it's a good thing. And I got to say this. I know you posted that, and there was a couple people that threw stuff out there, just negative Nancy's, however you want to look at it, or haters, however you want to look at it, but just say nasty things, it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars. Are you kidding? That's probably one of the most important things we do. But these people, you go back, and there's an agenda there. I can promise you. The one that's complaining, filed a complaint against another police agency, our agency, sent a letter up to the state. I mean, just unsatisfied people. But then you're going to hate on these kids getting a ride to school by law enforcement. I'm sorry, we're not going to stop that process. Great thing about being an elected office is we pick our priorities, and that'll always be a priority.
And if you're thinking, I would like to ride along with the sheriff, well, there's a chance you could do that by winning an auction tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is Dancing Like the Stars, put on by Real Wishes. Jeff Davenport and I are going to MC that program, but they're going to do an auction tomorrow night. Again, these are fundraisers that Real Wishes takes their money back into the community. I get nothing for this, and I say nothing, the fact that there's no monetary on this. I mean, I do it because I think it's a great program. But, and going back to what you're saying with the kids, if any schools listen to us and they say, well, we'd love to have the police chief or the sheriff or law enforcement, sometimes I'm unavailable, so my guys will do it, my outreach team, that we'll take the kids to school. Just get a hold of us. Law enforcement's big into that. That's called community policing, which was developed in 1995. I was very proud to attend a 2-week course, and I've lived with it ever since. But long story short is, it's just not for a couple kids. If there's a program out there that we can work with your schools, we'll love to do it, and we'll get those little kiddos to school and have them share that experience. Because every kid I've done it's been a pleasure like that. So just get a hold of us.
And you also have the University of Arizona. The University of Arizona, just had to highlight that. They did a scholarship in your name based on Dining Under the Stars. So just, again, giving back to the community.
And a little history on that. So I've emceed that for many years now, too. And one of the things and Jeff Davenport's been big into that with me on and off for the years, but is we do auction a ride with the sheriff. Well, those funds, 100% of those funds, go back to their scholarship program, helping students go to college and get their degrees. And so they had their scholarship program there night, and they labeled one of the scholarships named after me. It's a leadership scholarship, so it's a really honor to do that. But going back to U of A, so they asked me if I'd speak. I think it was Tuesday night. If I'd speak, I said, yeah, okay, I will. But I made that comment. I said, I'm selling my profession to help students in need. But I said, I got to tell everybody, ASU this is unique because I'm an ASU guy. And it's so cute. We're in U of A. Everybody's U of A, right? And then in the back of the room, 2 people raised their hands, a couple, husband and wife, I'm assuming, raised their hand. They gave me the fork sign and said, hey, I go, hey, how are you doing back there? Put the hand out before you get hurt. So, but long story short is, it's what an honor. I mean, I think it was $4,000 for a scholarship for some student, and you add that with other scholarships. But it was really nice. And but again, it's just a way of giving back, and that's what the Sheriff's Department's all about. There's 3 components that we've done for 13 years: education, prevention, and enforcement. And so part of that education, part of that prevention is doing what we're talking about.
I think that they were actually giving you the C sign. It was far away.
No,
so it's absolutely what it was.
It was definitely the forks. It was definitely the forks.
Well, you are always doing interviews across the country, and it's usually about the border, but this interview was about specialty units. Tell us about that.
So I got contacted through national sheriffs, and there's a research firm, and with IACP, which is International Association of Chiefs of Police, but they're doing research on specialty units, like what's the needs, what's the benefit, what's the downfall. I mean, on and on. So I was contacted if we do one on our Border Operations Center that we kicked off here a few years ago. And it was like an hour interview, 45 minutes to an hour. And let me just say, there's a lot of people on this panel, but they were hitting like ping ball, boom, boom, boom. And at the end of it, I thought it was really nice. At the end, the guy that was moderating it said to me, he goes, Sheriff, we want to say something to you. I said, okay. They said, out of the 18 people we've interviewed, police chiefs, sheriffs, and I'm assuming others, they said, you've provided the most detail for us, and we really like what you guys are doing down here. So that was nice to hear. And I'm so proud of the men and women, Captain Williams, Captain Jurdy, and the folks within that center that make that happen every day. And let me just say, they're doing some amazing work. Just some amazing work. So again, it goes back to the fact that it's the talent we try to retain, we recruit, we retain here, and they make it happen every day. So again, I'm waiting for the final pride to come out, and they said, Sheriff, we're not going to mention any names. And you're welcome to mention. We have nothing to hide here. Feel free to put our names out there. But again, it was a good interview.
And so were you concerned when the suit showed up yesterday?
I know. It's so funny, So I had the opportunity yesterday. They called a couple weeks ago. The new FBI director for Arizona, recently appointed here. So he oversees all FBI in Arizona. So came to visit. He wanted to come visit. And I think I met him a couple. I met him a couple weeks ago in Flagstaff for a few minutes. But either way, they show up into the office, and Adam, who's longtime supervisor for the FBI here and good guy. So they walk up. They're both tall guys, not like me, wearing their suits and their ties. And I go, "Wow, you guys don't stand out," because it's typical FBI. You know what I mean? We could be baling hay. They'd have a suit on. But long story short is we went to lunch. I showed him some things. He was very impressed with what we're doing here. But these relationships, it starts with the leaderships, the chiefs, the leaders of our HSI, DEA, ATF, DPS, all the things, all the partners we work with, and I'm very impressed to say we have great relationships here. We really do, and with our state and beyond. So that's how we get things done. It's truly how we get things done. Everybody's like, how do you get it done? How do you have these partnerships? When leadership puts their egos aside, their pride aside, and say, hey, let's do this together. So great visit. He didn't buy lunch, but they were giving him. I was giving him some. I was poking at him a little bit, and the guys that were my captains were with me, Tim and John, and they were like talking about my Larry and Lenny cookies. You know what that is?
Yes.
They're protein cookies. Started on Shark Tank. I'm going to say, but I eat one every morning for breakfast and a 44-ounce Diet Coke. That's my breakfast. If you put it in your head, that's eggs and bacon and a cup of coffee. It tastes the same. But long story short, he goes, I've never heard of that. And I said, they're good for you, man. And the guys, don't eat them, to Keith, the director. I said, listen, once you try one, it's for athletes. I tell my wife this all the time. She doesn't buy into it either. But they're for athletes. And so I said, that's probably why you guys haven't eaten. I know my captains don't eat them. Look at them. But long story short is, we get done. We get back to the office. And I said, listen, I got something for you. And usually when people listen, when you get done, you give them a coin. Here's a coin from the sheriff's office. He'll give you an FBI coin, and we all embraced. But in this case, I said, I want to give you something special today. He goes, Sheriff, what do you got? So I reached in my door, and I gave him a Larry and Lenny cookie. And he goes, are you serious? I go, no, serious. And when you try that, give me a call. Let me know how it tastes. You're going to feel like a different person. So we'll see what next time I see him if he ate it. He better not throw it away. I'm just throwing that out there. It cost me $2.79 plus tax.
You also met the new leadership from the hospital.
I did. I went to a social Friday night with the hospital board and my wife, Nikki, and I met him, Scott. Super nice guy. This guy flew. He was in the military, flew, I think it was helicopters. Listened to his background, just really, really into the community. Sean was too, his predecessor. I mean, I miss Sean. But he is too, and he's focused, of what I'm being told, he's really focused on the staff at the hospital to make sure his team, and him and I talked about this, that if you don't have the team believing in the mission, it doesn't matter where the community's at. I mean, because your service comes internally first and then externally. And so I was really impressed talking to him. He's got his act together. I think he's going to be a good CEO for this area. So if you listen to this, please embrace him. I think you got some good things coming there with Scott.
And congratulations, Nikki.
Yes, shout out to Nikki. They announced at the social that she is the Canyon Vista Hospital Board Member of the Year. So, Nikki, thank you. Congratulations. So I'm giving her an extra shout out for that.
And shout outs to our ranch patrol. In case you didn't know, they work so hard, and they are really good at what they do. And they helped our chief of staff, Tom Alinen, earlier this week.
Yes, Tom's mule got out.
Big Red.
Big Red. Big Red was missing. And so the ranch guys, and that's Jesse and Cody, whether it's a Mexican wolf issue that they've been addressing over the last few months, whether it's a livestock issue, whether it's a criminal trespass, whatever it has to do with agriculture, those are your two guys. They don't look like a traditional deputy in uniform because these are legacy ranchers. They grew up in ranch communities, and they're out there serving the ranchers. It's a great program. It's my liaison program with the ranch. But they went out and got Big Red. They found Big Red, and Tom told me that, who's my chief of staff, said, man, they did it quick. That's what they do. They ride horses. They do with confidence. It's natural to them. But they had Big Red all, what do you call it? tasseled up, and next thing you know, he's in the back of a horse trailer. So again, kudos to Cody and Jesse, but Big Red's safe now.
And the video, it didn't show them actually getting him loaded, so people were concerned that, like, did it happen, didn't it happen? It happened. I mean, they are really good at what they do. They just had to whisper in his ear.
Yeah, they're agriculture whispers. But what's neat about it is, I mean, thank you to the public on this, because they jumped right in there. What do we have, 4,000? What did you say, Grady? Is like 4,000.
Yeah, it has a lot of engagements.
A lot of engagement for Big Red. So Big Red has become a Oscar-winning celebrity here in Cochise County. And so we were talking about doing a series with Big Red. Where's Big Red today? So it's just a cute story. Carol, thank you for writing that up. I thought the storyline was right in there. It was just a fun story.
Yeah, if you haven't read that, go on our Facebook page and read it, because the way you worded it was just wonderful. That was good.
And yeah, people just loved it.
Yeah,
So
they ended up
you got a career after this.
That's it. That's it.
an Oscar for writing. There
There we go.
Yes, yeah. In fact, if he gets the red carpet award, you'll be right there with him.
There you go. I'll lead him.
Yes, there you go. Accepting the
know.
award for Big
Yes.
Red will be Carol Kappas.
That sounds good. Well, let's talk about the animal control officers.
They do an amazing job. But let me tell you, something that we've been missing for 4 decades that I've been here, and Carol, yourself, is the fact that we don't have our own operating shelter. We rely on everybody else. Now, being the largest law enforcement agency in the county, you think, and I'm all about partnerships, but you think we'd have at least one center that we run. The Wilcox shelter, just people know, we own it. Wilcox partnered with us, and so they pretty much run that every day. We got a partnership with the city of Douglas. We have a partnership with the city of Benson. And so those are great partnerships. Please don't read me on this when I say that. We couldn't do it without them. But we've been talking for several years, for numerous years, about why don't we have our own. Now, shelter business is hard. It is. You're dealing with dogs and cats and all the challenges, and animals are sensitive. I get it. I love animals. But at the end of the day is we need to have our own shelter. So there's a committee, shout out to Kathleen Gomez, one of our board of supervisors, in putting this together and carrying on where we've been. But nobody wants to shift gears with it, and it's time to shift gears. And I've always said this so people understand where I'm at on this is we have to control our destiny. We've had shelters go bad, and what's the first one? Douglas Shelter had some issues. It's all over the news here, 3 or 4 months ago. We went in for 4 or 5 months, and we put our resources in to get this back uprighted. It was broke. So we have other shelters the same way, but at the end of the day is we shouldn't have to. We should control our destiny, and we don't. We rely on others to hold our reputation. I've always been the type is let me control my destiny, and if I mess up, you know exactly who to blame. And so again, we're working on that. Hopefully, my projection is to have our own shelter, and working with the community volunteer groups, working with another agency like Chuka City. I think we need a shelter in this side of the county based on the population alone. So I've talked to Suzanne from Chuka City, and we're talking, and some others. So we will see where this all goes, but I'd love to have our own.
And Benson even closed, the Benson shelter.
Yes, there were some issues there, and they just closed. So again, it goes back to, yeah, we were paying a good fee to Benson. I got all the respect for Benson, but I think they took 5 dogs in a year or something like that. But we're paying them thousands of dollars. Again, my destiny is I can't touch that because it's a contract. So again, I want to control that.
And another thing that falls right in our backyard but is out of our control is we're talking about jail stuff. So there's a forum, a community forum coming next Friday that will be about issues in general that affect people. It's a community engagement forum. It's going to be at the Rothery Education Center. It starts at 8:30, goes through 1 o'clock, and there's going to be a lot of different people talking. It's through Southern Arizona Legal Aid and the NAACP, so you can go online and try to register for that. They have, goals and objectives of Southern Arizona Legal Aid. They're going to have the statewide legal assessment and hot topics from Legal Aid. Then they have breakout panels. So the first panel is going to be physical and mental health and economic development. They're going to have a break. The second panel is criminal justice, public safety, and judiciary. And this is where you, Chief Chris Heiser of Sierra Vista Police Department, and the Honorable Jim Conlog, who's retired, are going to be talking about things like immigration, education, housing, and then they're going to have a lunch, and then they have keynote speakers. and then they're going to end it up with next steps and closing. So those are some of the things that they're going to be bringing up as the jail issue. And that evolves into a whole new thing that came this week.
It does. Our jail is 40 years old. And I'll just state the facts. I mean, every week, every month, every day, there's something broke, something that's challenging us. And for 10 months, we've been pushing. We've had our fire alarm system is messed up at the jail. It's been messed up. It's $500,000 to get fixed. We presented this probably 10 months ago, plus or minus, and said, hey, we got a problem here. Well, we've been pushing, and then next thing you know, the district gets suspended. The money was there to fix this $500,000 project. We don't have a fire alarm system in the jail. Think about that for a minute. It's a concern. It's a huge concern. State Fire Marshal come in unannounced this week, and guess where we're at? We're under strict. We're in trouble, and rightfully so. I agree with what's going on, but how do we fix it? It's going to cost us more money. The district funds are suspended, $13 million, whatever it is, sitting in a fund that I can't touch to even fix this. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm telling you, we have to have, just put in perspective, we have to have somebody 24/7. We've been doing fire watch because we don't have it. This has been ongoing since the system. So we've had people like during the 30-minute security checks also look for anything like fire watch or for a fire. But we have to have people dedicated 24/7 watching for all they do. Not a detention officer doing DO work. This is people that watch for fire. And,
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yes. And so I'm not surprised where we're at with this. We've tried, but it's just frustrating. My team's frustrated. I'm frustrated with it. The jail, we were on plan to get a new jail, and then we had people out there fighting for us. Well, I would say to those people this: how do we build a new jail? You can't ignore it, folks. Every day that we ignore it, or every day that goes by, is a blessing. Something bad happened. But number two is you can't ignore this. This is a huge mandate for a sheriff for me to operate this thing. I got to be able to operate something that's going to be working. This doesn't work anymore. So either way, I know we have an election in November. We're going to be hitting the road on community forums coming up on that, like you just mentioned one last Friday. But enough is enough. We have to come up with it. And the naysayers on this, and I respect those that don't want to spend money. I get it. Well, give me a solution then. Give me a solution. And we gave you one. Obviously, we know where we're at with that. And so bottom line at the end of the day is we'll see what happens in November. And if it doesn't pass in November, and we just can't see, okay, it didn't pass now. Don't worry about it. No. One way or another, we have to have a new jail.
So what happens if all of these deficiencies aren't fixed?
Well, then and let me just say, I'm not worried about defending it for me. I mean, we have put everything forward. There's nothing that we have not done. They can shut us down. This is where this has all been talked about for 3 years, 4 years, beyond. That's why the effort, the experts, everybody's come in and said, Sheriff, this is where we're at. And the state fire marshal's coming in and saying, hey, no, we presented a plan that, hey, can we get this plan until we can figure out, because we don't have the budget. I can't use district funds right now, on and on. And so they can shut us down. We can get fined. We can get charged. I mean, you name it. You understand my frustration here. And in the meantime, people kick the can down the road. Well, keep kicking it, and I'll be the first one to say, we tried. I mean, I give you the can. You kicked it. That's your choice. So I don't know. This is new to me. This is so new to me. I'm not unexpected, though. I'll just tell you. I mean, you can't avoid a problem. Conflict resolution doesn't come by avoiding the conflict.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, do you have a stop of the week this week?
I helped this another agency. But before I say that, let's talk about, if I could, our deputy with the individual on a motorcycle that was impaired at 120 miles an hour. This was 2 in the morning. Deputy come up the highway, sees a motorcycle. First of all, he took off. He's going 85 in a 45. Deputy spins on him. By that time, he got him on radar. He spun around, got him on radar 120 miles an hour. Wow, on a motorcycle. Ends up getting him stopped. The guy's impaired. Can you imagine? I'm a motorcycle rider. Can you imagine 120 miles an hour impaired on a motorcycle? That is what they call a death trap for those motoring the highway, but also for the driver of this vehicle. So thank you to my deputy for stopping this threat, being out there, and that's what we do. We neutralize threats. But then there was one last night coming home where Service PD officer made a stop on a car out in the county. I backed him up on it, going home about 6:37, and the guy was impaired. I watched him do his test. And I want to go over the standards of that, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this. So when they arrested him, his wife was talking to me, her girlfriend, the passenger in the car, and she's like, I don't understand why you're arresting him. I get it. I mean, that's a family member or a friend, whatever you want to call it. I didn't ask what the relationship was. And I said, ma'am, has he been drinking or doing illicit drugs or even illegal drugs? Well, he was smoking marijuana. Listen, marijuana is legal. And I said, well, you can't smoke marijuana and drive. I mean, because if you show a slightest degree is the standard of proof for DUI, slightest degree of impairment, that is a DUI in the state of Arizona. And she goes, well, it's legal. Well, so's drinking a beer. But you can't drink a beer and show impairment to the slightest degree and then say it's okay. So, folks, yes, it is legal to smoke marijuana. Yes, it is legal to take your prescription pills. But if it impairs you to the slightest degree, that is DUI. So I want to make sure I put that message out there because people know when you consume something, if that's impairing you, you got to recognize it. Don't get behind the wheel of a car.
And we have to provide education on that. We took some hits on that.
Yes, amazing. We take hits. I mean, these are the haters of the world. Social media. I guess it comes with that platform now. But what was the comment? Some crazy comment?
Why do you have to put this out there? This is ridiculous. We're not stupid. Well, look at how many people we arrest for DUI.
Well, let me just say this, and this is not to be insultive, but this is ignorance of the law is not a defense of the law. So we put it out there for what? Education, prevention. That's why we put it out. So we have this show. So people just maybe somebody will say, oh, I didn't know that. And that's why we did. And then we have the other element of it. I always say that. So education, prevention. 66% of what we do is educate and prevent. Add this into it. 33% of the people either are ignorant about it and don't care or highlight the don't care. They're just going to do it either way. So we have to have the enforcement component. And the two examples we just shared with you right here are examples of maybe you can't tell me that an individual going 120 miles on a motorcycle that's impaired didn't know it was wrong. I'm not going to buy it. So we put it out there because we also want people to be aware. Sharing the highway when they see something like this, yes, be careful out there when you're driving your vehicles.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Brady, Carol, thank you, and everybody have a safe week. Take care.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have CCOM Director Tammy Jo Wilkins.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And thank you so much. I'm going to put a different hat on you today, Tammy Jo. So you are the chief of the vigilantes today.
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
Talk to us about what's going on in Tombstone.
Well, this weekend is the premier event for Cochise County. We have a tribute weekend that the city of Tombstone has put together in honor of Val Kilmer. And we have a lot of stuff planned for the next 3 days. So tonight, August 8th at 7 p.m. at Shefflin Hall, there's a lecture series and a panel, and that's being hosted by Mescal Movie Set with special guest Tom Hurt, who's the hat maker of the stars, and Peter Sherayko. He's the original Texas Jack from the movie Tombstone. He'll be here actually all weekend because on Saturday he'll be at Lily's Tombstone Memories signing autographs and all that other good stuff. Then Saturday, August 9th at high noon, we're doing a walk down in honor of Val Kilmer. And what we're asking the community is to gather at 6th and Allen Street about 11:30 because the vigilantes are going to coordinate how this walk down is actually completed. The OK Corral is partnered up with us, and the ERPs will be walking down with a riderless horse, And on this horse will be all kinds of memorabilia for the movies that Val Kilmer has been in. And then that horse is going to be walking with Morgan, Wyatt, and Virgil. And then the Vigilantes have a coffin that will be pole bearers for right after that. And then, of course, next in line will be the city dignitaries, the city and council. So if any other mayors from various communities are coming, they would be invited to walk with the city dignitaries. And then after that will be everybody else. So we're expecting a giant turnout. And I know that this will be live streamed in a variety of different places to include Desert Sky Adventures, and I think Tombstone Chamber is also going to be live streaming this. So if you can't come and participate, definitely get online and watch it. And then at 1 p.m., the walk down will actually end at Tombstone City Park, but at 1 p.m. we'll have a Val Kilmer movie costume contest. So dress up as your favorite Val Kilmer character for that costume contest. And then at 8 p.m., which is like the most exciting thing all weekend, is the Ultimate Doors tribute concert. And a lot of people don't know what the connection is with the Doors and Val Kilmer. He played Jim Morrison in the movie. So gates open at 6 at Shootout Arena. Desert Thunder is the opening band. They'll start about 6:30. And then the Ultimate Doors tribute concert starts at 8 p.m. at Shootout Arena. There are tickets available online still. They're $20 online today only. After that, then you can buy tickets at the gate for $25 a person. But the VIP and the shootout, the O-shoots are sold out already. So it is general admission, $25 at the gate tomorrow. And then Sunday will be the Val Kilmer Memorial Plot dedication at the Tombstone City Cemetery. A lot of community members are thinking that this is going to be at Boot Hill. That's a rumor. Kurt Russell did not buy a plot for Val at Boot Hill. He bought it at the city cemetery. So the plot dedication will be at the city cemetery at 11 a.m. And then at 1 p.m. there's some free street reenactments by the Tombstone Vigilantes. So come and check out Tombstone this weekend. There's a lot going on, and a lot to be thankful for, and a lot to honor Val Kilmer for.
That is a lot that you guys have got going on.
Well, and that's just the icing on the cake. There's so many opportunities to celebrate Val Kilmer that you have to come to Tombstone to find out.
Sounds like a fun weekend in Tombstone, and thanks for coming and checking us up on that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Adam Curtis from the city of Sierra Vista.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
Brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much, Communications Manager for the City of Sierra Vista, Adam Curtis.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So, all things hummingbird.
Yeah, so August is Hummingbird Month in Sierra Vista. This is the second time we're doing this. And this year we have something new that we're excited to be able to offer the community. It's called Hidden Hummingbirds. And you can go to either the Sierra Vista Visitor Center, and you can do that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m., or the Sierra Vista Public Library, which is open on Saturdays between 10 and 4. And you can pick up a Hidden Hummingbird passport. So it's this really cute little passport thing that you open up, and it gives you the different sites for all the Hidden Hummingbird locations. So these are at different city facilities throughout Sierra Vista, and you kind of look around those locations for these little plaques that have QR codes on them, and use your phone to scan them, and then you'll learn some cool information about the different hummingbirds that you can see in Sierra Vista, including one historic hummingbird that hasn't been seen here since about 100 years ago, and a bonus hummingbird over at the airport that is space-themed. That is really cool. And basically, you do those QR codes, you learn a little code that you write down in your passport, and you return that to either the visitor center or the library, and you get a prize. So we definitely encourage folks to check that out, and if you haven't been out to any of the birding hotspots, this is a great time to do it in general. It's migration season, so there's a lot of hummingbirds traveling through our area right now that you won't see at other times of year. And if you didn't know, Arizona is, or Sierra Vista is the hummingbird capital of Arizona officially. And we love to say that we're the hummingbird capital of the U.S. as well, because you can see more varieties of hummingbirds here than just about any place in the country. So Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary is a good place to do that. That's run by the Southeastern Arizona Bird Observatory. And something else we do for Hummingbird Month is we have a Hummingbird Heroes program where businesses and organizations can sign up to host activities, specials, or just donation bins for SABO. And businesses like Doc's Watering Hole and Landmark Cafe are offering some cool specials again associated with that. So you can find information about all this stuff on our website at sierravistaaz.gov. There's a big banner at the top that will take you over to the Hummingbird Month page. So that's where you can find out all these locations for the Hummingbird Heroes stuff and a whole bunch of other miscellaneous events we're doing. And before I forget, it is almost the last day to register for the Hummingbird Triathlon. So that's coming up next Saturday. Registration is open through Monday. You can sign up as an individual or a team. You'll swim 800 yards, bike 13 miles, and run 5 kilometers. I could do one of those things. So if you're comfortable doing just one, recruit some friends real quick, and you could, do one leg each. Otherwise, you can do all 3 yourself. And that is on active.com. So if you head to active.com and search for Hummingbird Triathlon, you'll find the registration for that. And again, that closes on Monday. And one thing that we also started last year that's happening again on September 13th is the Oktoberfest 5K. So every year, you probably know, we host a very big Oktoberfest event in Veterans Memorial Park. Last year, we started also doing a 5K associated with that. So on Saturday morning, you can go for a run and then get a beer right afterwards.
That's
which
what
is
I'm talking about.
yeah, it is pretty fun. So definitely check that out if you're into that kind of thing. That's going to be on September 13th. It is also on active.com. It is a very fun little 5K. So aside from that, in August, be sure to check out our website for all the Hummingbird Month activities. Some of the other miscellaneous events you'll find are a Hummingbird Hunt trip, where you kind of get actually taken out on a birding trip and get to kind of be led by an expert to find some birds. There's also Hummingbird Bingo. There's a wine bottle Hummingbird Feeders crafting night, which sounds kind of fun. But yeah, definitely check out all those different hummingbird-related events and activities over at sierravistaaz.gov.
And that's a great website for all of that. But you have other social media platforms. Would you like to tell us about some of those?
Oh, of course. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Those are our 2 primary ones. We have about 9 different Facebook pages, but the City of Sierra Vista Facebook page is the main stuff, or main one for this kind of stuff. Also, a great follow is Sierra Vista Police, Fire, and EMS. That's a very active page, and if you want to get the latest news from Sierra Vista Police and Fire, it's a great way to do that, and also keep current with any kind of breaking news or incidents going on in town as well. Aside from that, we have plenty of other Facebook pages you can discover, but definitely follow us on City of Sierra Vista, both on Facebook and Instagram.
And one final thing for this passport. When you turn it in, do you get to keep it back again?
I believe so.
It's a cool little passport.
I do think you get to keep the passport. I don't see why we would really want to keep them.
Okay.
So we just want proof that you wrote down the codes and actually went to the different sites. But it is really cute. It looks like a real passport. It actually
does.
kind of feels like one,
It feels
right?
like one. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's very cute. And some people have already done it and claimed like the first big prize. You got a bonus prize for being one of the early people. But if you're interested, do it soon, and you might get a T-shirt or something. I forget how many people get the T-shirts, but prizes for anyone who completes them. And definitely go check out the bonus hummingbird at the Sierra Vista Municipal Airport. It's kind of related to our efforts to become a spaceport, basically a re-entry site for space planes, these kind of drones that kind of return from space, that we're working with a company called Black Star Orbital to they're going to manufacture them, test them, and then have them return here in Sierra Vista. So we did that hummingbird just to kind of highlight some of that line of effort we're working on over there, and you'll kind of get a unique little prize for that one too. So.
Well, Adam Curtis, we thank you for coming and talking to us
Yep.
today and catching us up with everything that's going on in Sierra Vista.
Of course.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Janet Morlock. She's the president of the Sierra Vista Lions Club.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much, Janet, for being here, the president of the Sierra Vista Lions Club.
Thank you for having us again, Carol. I know I bug you guys every couple of months, but it's because we have a great event every couple of months.
And that's awesome.
Because Sierra Vista is a pretty cool community, and one of the things the Lions Club was looking at, I've told you guys before, we wanted something we could do for the public that would involve the public, because, we want people to be able to get out and see the importance of volunteering. So, anyway, we've got Make a Blanket with Project Linus and the Salvation Army coming up on Saturday, August 9th. From 9 a.m. to noon. If you can only come by for an hour, that's okay, but you'll want to stay for the whole 3. And what we're doing is we are making homemade, with love, hand-tied fleece blankets for children in need. The kid that's maybe going to cancer treatment, the kid that's maybe going into foster care, a kid that's been in some in a trauma. They're carried by our first responders, including the sheriff's office, the fire departments. The Blake Foundation has them for the kids going into foster, and we make them right here in town. So I just want to, first of all, thank the community that came out in June. We made 75 blankets on site with over 60 volunteers. We made enough quilt squares for 14 more quilts to be made by amazing quilt makers at home. 16 completed fleece were dropped off. 17 Afghans, which are those blankets made with yarn that are on your grandma's couch for you youngsters out there. 33 completed quilts. It was amazing. We had everybody from 4-year-olds to a whole group of NCOs from Fort Huachuca, and not to mention everybody that just came in and said, hey, I heard about you on the radio. I saw a little blurb in the paper, and I'm here. What can I do to help? So Make a Blanket is amazing. I love that when some of the firefighters and police officers come by. Mark's been by. Mark Daniels has been by to tell us what your department's doing with them, so it's pretty cool stuff. So anyway, we're going to do it again this Saturday, tomorrow morning, Salvation Army Community Center at 180 East Wilcox in Sierra Vista. Come by, be a part of the magic just for a little while. And I've had a couple of people ask, of course, bring your kiddos. They're the next generation of volunteers to take care of this community, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you very much.
And also, there's a phone number you can throw out if they want more information. Go ahead and throw that out.
520-266-1101 will get a hold of me. I am, again, Janet Morlock, and I'd love to talk to you about Project Linus and all things Lions.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
Reach out at 520-432-9500. You can check out our social media at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. That'll be our Facebook page. It has links to our Instagram and our X. And also, you can go on our webpage, cochise.az.gov/sheriff.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Right here on KWCD.